motion. Let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. Until then you'll leave your words. But lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. Lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, have reached your lover's end. No way will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Good evening, race fans. How are we all? It's round 7 of the GT Alpha's GT3 World Championship 2023, live from St. Croix, layout B. Very special guest with us this evening. Super Squid, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, mate. I'm not doing too bad. You know, you muddle along. And bearing in mind what's gone on this week, it's yeah, it's been a difficult week, I think, for everyone. But you know, you've got to carry on. Life is life. It's what it is. Right.
Yeah.
So, a little bit different this evening. The layout is essentially the same. We're still going to do the 20-minute sprint race followed by the 40-minute feature. We are, however, in honour of the great man Lankster, who we lost to cancer at a very young age this week. We're going to do a lap of honour for him, and that's why Super Squid's here today from ART, because he knows Lankster a lot better than I do. I mean, obviously, I've spent some time with Lankster, but not the kind of amount of time that Squid has. And Squid's going to kind of talk a little bit about him at some stage and kind of help out. And yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. Right, so I'll get the lobby reset. That's the first thing I've got to do. And probably should get rid of the thumbnail as well. Yeah, let me get this lobby reset first, so everyone's on an even keel. Didn't broadcast last week, and it's like I've forgotten how everything works already. Don't know how I managed that. And then, of course, we'll get the grid set. What I've noticed, we're missing a couple, which is a bit annoying, bearing in mind that we've got 2 lobbies running. Because that means that there's 2 guys running in lobby 2 that could have had the extra bonus points running in lobby 1. How do you feel about that, Squid?
I mean, I don't mind if you've got a space that needs filling. I'll set the rig up and I'll join you. But if you've got people that want to bump ups and get some points, then I won't interfere.
No, I mean, it's too late to move them now. I'm thinking more along the lines of the people that, you know, the way we set the grids here, Squid, is that it's done by your race pace in the previous race. So last week's sprint race, everyone's average race pace was worked out, and the top 15 or top 14 go into lobby 1. So if someone has checked in for the race and then been put in lobby 1, they've essentially bumped someone down to lobby 2 and they're not shown up, which is a bit of a pain.
I can see that's kind of inconvenient, and it's costing them ultimately as well in the standings, I assume.
Absolutely, because it's you know, if they don't show up, they can't set a race pace, and therefore they're in the bottom lobby next week anyway. So down to them. Right, let's get the grid set up. I think that's the first thing we need to do. So on pole today, it's Tech Racing. He in the last few races has been absolutely phenomenal. Him and Bonnie Val, one of your guys, just phenomenal pace from those two, and it's been one or the other winning the fastest laps so far.
Yeah, I can't speak for Tech Racing, but Bonival, and to have that pace as well on a controller, he is an absolute wizard. So I've got massive respect for him. Yeah, it does. You spend so much money on a sim rig, I could be just as fast with a bit of plastic between my hands, you know.
It'd be a lot more comfortable sitting on the couch, to be fair, as well.
I would. Anyway, as you were, sorry.
Yeah, so Stallfly, he's currently top of the championship, but he's starting on row 2. He would be starting ahead of Knudsen, but Knudsen is not here, so that bumps up Hovercraft to 5th. The Truth, who's currently 2nd in the championship, starts. He'll be 5th now instead of 6th. Osman not here. That bumps Aero up. Where is Aero?
Osman's in P6 or grid apparently.
Oh, he is there. Yeah, he's there. My
It's alright.
Osman is there. So it's the Truth. Aero's missing. That's who's missing. TJ's a surprise package actually. He's one of our drivers. He throughout testing he was adamant that he wouldn't make the pro class and wouldn't race in the top lobby, and yet he's been there or thereabouts pretty much all the way through. So and he's in a BMW as well, which isn't the fastest of GR3 cars.
So it sounds like a bit of a dark horse there, one to watch maybe for a couple of slip-ups further up the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Woody, is he ticked in yet?
He's ticked in, yep.
He is ticked in. There he is. Woolly's sitting. He'll be 11th on the grid, I think, now, because of people not showing up. Yeah, 11th. Yeah, behind Avalon, who's in 10th, I think. Yeah. Oh no, he's not. They've all moved up 2 because you're missing 2 people. Pain in the arse, this. Right, so it's Avalon, then it's Woolly, then it'll be Let It Rip, and then it'll be Old Man Jay. Got it right. There we go. Finally got that sorted. Yeah, so basically, we're going to do one lap. It's going to be led by Wooly and Bonnie Val of ART. They're going to lead the guys round at 50 kilometres an hour. Just to have some quiet reflection and sort of celebrate the life of Lankster, who, from what I understand, was one of the most helpful guys in
Amigos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing a little bit of sideline research there. Amigos was set up kind of August 2020. I think by Simo and Jonesy, a couple of the really old guard, we could say. Lankster joined in about November, so not long after, but he really was one of the founding pillars of the community, quickly establishing himself as one of the fastest guys, but also one of the nicest guys. You could talk to him about anything, in the sim, driving lines, racing etiquette, how to kind of build your speed up, fuel and time management, but also off that, he would talk to you, he'd listen to you about everything that was going on in your real world life, and he would always have an open ear for you, always trying to maybe offer advice where it was welcome and just kind of reassure you when maybe it wasn't. And he was just an absolutely wonderful person, a presence in the community. A lot of us were very privileged to meet him a couple of times. He had some quite close friends from some of the mods. We went to
Hello, we've lost you.
and me and my friend Ryan, we went to see him at a party held not so long ago, just because for his friends, they were hosting a thing at a little club near him. And that was a really nice chance to meet some other people as well that were quite key in his life. And we did notice back then that he was looking quite tired, and he doesn't seem to be really enjoying himself. And we were worried that things were starting to, I say, maybe accelerate in the worst kind of way. And it was really lovely that he had all of his friends around him at that time to really support him and to take care of him, and it was such a wonderful celebration to be part of as well. But the community have always stood by him. He's always stood by the community in turn, and really kind of towards where he started to not race so much. He would be more of like a social secretary. He'd organise the goings out with people, would suggest what we could do as a team. He was also like our steward, our chief steward, so if people need a slap on the wrist or a bit something more strict, he'd be there for that as well, but also celebrating, commending the real kind of Amigos spirit of clean driving. And he's left such an incredible impact on the community. I can't speak for his family, of course, and it'd be presumptuous of me to even think of doing that, but I'm sure the community wouldn't mind me saying, whether they've known him for a couple of days or a couple of years, that we will never forget the legacies left on us as such a small but tight-knit group, and we will forever be grateful, and we will miss him incredibly.
Really, really strong words. I spoke to him a couple of times. Did a bit of comms stuff for you guys, particularly when you did that fundraiser earlier in the year, and he was just so friendly and so welcoming and so warm every time I spoke to him. That was the kind of impression I got.
Of course, there are many people that are different personas when they're racing online and when they're behind the screen, and then when they're in the real world, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But Lankster was always he was the same guy, in the rig or in the real world. He was charming, he was funny, he was a real lad. He was caring. He was a really, really wonderful gentleman, and he's left such a positive influence on people, not just an impact in racing and a bar to set in terms of the game skill, but also really what a gentleman should be, I feel. And that's something that I want to think about when I go on and take the rest of my life. I'm getting married in the summer, I want to start a family, and if I can be even half the man that he's shown me people can be, then I'd be quite proud of myself too.
Good luck with your wedding, mate. I'm 23 years in, so 5 years in, 25.
Hope you not just had an angry nudge on the shoulder there, Mr. Pirate. Okay.
Apparently, I'm having some problems with my mic, which
you sounded a little quiet, but I didn't know if that was just my game mix.
The problem is the kids use my computer when I'm not at it, and I'm fiddling with it because I know they had a Zoom call it.
Just then you were very, very clear. There you go. Oh, now you're even further away.
I think one of the buttons has got a problem with it, so when you move it, you have to kind of little bit of a bang, and oh, there we go. Or is it? No. Hang on.
Right, stay. Don't move. Don't move.
It's as soon as I let go of the button, it stopped working again.
I think maybe just while you're figuring that out as well, we did a fundraise, as you say, for Lankster back in, I think it was June or so, and combined with his wonderful friends and family as well, we helped to raise I think just shy of £22,000 as of today. If I double check, I think back when we did the fundraiser itself, it was quite a hefty total we managed to get by the end of it all. We raised, I think we raised over £1,000 on that night. Actually, that was in February, rather, sorry. So just in February alone, on the 9th of February when we did it, we raised £1,000, £600 from the stream, and another £400, I think, just on the day. So that was a really great push from everyone involved. And again, thanks to all the Amigos, all the families outside of that. And we even had people who weren't part of Amigos take part in that. Some from Black Flag, some from, I think, ICER as well. And it was really lovely to see the communities around sim racing unite for something that we all really want to fight against, I feel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a really, really, really fun night, to be fair. Did enjoy that, and I mean, £22,000. That's insane. That's an insane amount of money. So it just goes to show how this community really does come together.
Of course, I mean that could be sending his family away for lovely holidays. It could maybe pay one of their kids' uni tuition if they decide to go. That could be deposit, or maybe like a place to park deposit on a house or something. That's a huge sum of money that people have put together there, and I'm sure that's never going to be unnoticed and recognised by his family, because they're a lovely bunch as well. And Sam, Mrs. Marchant, I hope she doesn't mind me saying, it was such a wonderful lady and a wonderful host. We went to see her and Phil at the party, and of course personal gratitude to her and personal best wishes to her and her family as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's quite. It shows the impact that Lankster had, actually, because the entire community really has kind of come sort of been hit by this. I mean, I obviously saw the news through you guys, but pretty much everywhere on Discord I was going, there was people leaving tributes to him all over the place, and people that I didn't even know that he knew or knew him. So the fact that he's had an impact across so many different groups and so many different people really stands testament to the sort of guy he was.
It really does. I mean, he was very active in the kind of the sim racing community. I feel that he was always like kind of a big fan of people like Tijni or Rory Alexander, and I've not seen for myself if there's been any particular mention of it over on their kinds of channels, but I'm sure that maybe if we were to have some kind of special event, we might try and reach out to those communities and see if they'd like to get involved as well. Of course, Black Flag would be a big part of that too, hopefully, but that's something I think we're going to discuss maybe with the moderators, and because we don't want to feel like we're using his name to try and spark fundraising and donations and things, because that wouldn't sit well with us, and he definitely wouldn't want that either.
No, absolutely, but anything that of that kind of ilk, the Black Flag would be happy to be involved in that kind of thing. So that they're out on their lap. You can see there's tributes all over the car. We'll have a look at some of the cars actually, as we can see there Wooly and Bonnie Val of ART leading the drivers round here at St. Croix. Let's have a look at some of these tributes. You can see there, I don't know if I can get to the top of his car, I can't. Oh, there's one on the wing there. So yeah, distinctive ART, I love the ART livery. You can spot the ART livery from a mile away. You know it's an Amigos car, just because of the way it's done.
I think a big shout out there to Elite Digits, who does a marvellous job on the deliveries. He has also had a recent battle with the Big C, and I think he's fortunately come out a lot better off with it, and he's now, I think, enjoying the time he's now got with his family and friends and so on. So of course, while we are here to think about Lankster and his family and stuff, I also want to really wish Elite as well the best of luck with his family and the friends and life, because he's not had it easy himself.
Yeah, it's a for me, we're talking about it, because we've got our own dabbles with the Big C, but it's just so indiscriminate. It's the one thing that, I mean, you could argue that if you smoke too much or drink too much, you can do it to yourself, but it is the one thing that it doesn't matter if you're good or bad or old or young or rich or poor or whatever. It's the one thing that you can't control it. It's completely random and devastating.
Absolutely, and especially for Phil, where I don't think he lived a particularly vice-heavy life, shall we say. He was suddenly, very suddenly, diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus, I believe, and it was quite low down. It was almost inoperable at one point, and they looked at it and said, I'm afraid if we go in, we're going to take so much out, you won't even recognise him, and he'll barely be functioning anyway. And he almost went from having a cough and a sore tummy overnight to being in palliative care just a few months down the road. So it really just grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, and at that point I wouldn't imagine what I would do with myself, and what I would, I think with me, I think I would have just completely locked myself away from my family and friends, and just kind of sat in the corner and waited for it to take me. But Phil was absolutely nothing like that at all. He fought every single minute of every day to be with his family, to be with the people that care about him, even to spend time with us, and you think, if someone like that is going for something so horrible, the last thing you'd be thinking of doing is kind of having a quiet Friday night in front of the PlayStation. But he would still talk to us, he'd be very open about things. He'd say, yeah, I'm having a really good day, or yeah, I'm having a really crap day, or I'm having the time of my life, or I can't feel my fingers. It'd be anything, but he would always talk to us, he'd always keep us informed, and he would, he'd still be himself. This thing was really kicking the daylights out of him, but he would still make time for everyone and everything, and I will eternally be grateful to him, eternally. Sorry.
No, it's a difficult thing, man. It gets you, it really does. But it is a very, very beautiful tribute to him. His car's going round now. I said 50 kilometres an hour. I forgot how long St. Croix was, but it's I think it's worthy. It's worthy of him. Let's talk a little bit about the drivers we've got out there, because we've got some fantastic drivers out there. We've obviously got the the two ART drivers out in front. We've got a few drivers from the United States with Sector 7 Racing, BVL Beyond Victory Lane Tech Racing. He's certainly one to watch. I think he is a good outside bet for the championship, the way he's been driving lately. Absolutely fantastic driving from him. Sector 7 currently in a black flag tournament are leading the team championship, annoyingly. So the black flag boys need to step up a little bit here and pull their finger out. And I think now Slipstream is back from holiday. That hopefully might change when he makes it back to Lobby 1. Bonnie Val would probably be leading the championship had it not been for the fact that his missus made him go to dinner. So be interesting to see where he slots in here. Osmond finally made it. He's had a few issues, Osmond. In fact, I've got to give a big shout out to Osmond, because we had our qualifier back 6 weeks ago, and he couldn't make the qualifier because he was stuck in the pub where he was working, but he did put the broadcast on a massive screen in the pub. So hopefully that brought some more people to the black flag community.
I'm just going through the comments on stream as well. We got some wonderful comments here from ART guys like Hockers, Hassel, Lays, Bookta Boy as well, and from outside it as well. Comments from Nick too. Sorry, we got PM10 there. We've got RA Nick as well, and again, thank you guys as well for your support and your care. We see that we've got some flowers sent to Lankster's wife, which I'm sure will be greatly appreciated too.
Yeah, no, it is amazing that the people that are pouring out tributes to him and have been all week. To be fair, when I heard the news earlier in the week, obviously I let the guys on the black flag know, but I kind of avoided Discord a little bit, because it was kind of there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do. I totally agree as well. I mean, I saw it about, I think, halfway through my day at work, and when you hear that stuff, and you just kind of get a bit empty inside, and then you're not really sure how to go on with the rest of it, and sometimes you want to shut it all off, and sometimes you want to talk to people, and of course, if anyone there is still thinking about it, or is a bit uncomfortable with it all, make sure you talk to someone, because we'll go through it together, and there's no point going through it by yourself if there's someone else you can talk to and share it. And in the same vein, if you do have a concern that you do feel there's something that is maybe a real illness that's going on and is regular, please make sure you go to your doctor and you check it out, because that's exactly what Phil did. He was quite unwell for a long period of time. It's only when he really pushed it they found out it was something very serious. So if you're suffering in any way, whether it is physically, whether it is kind of emotionally, don't do it by yourself.
No, absolutely. I 100% second that. And it is a thing with men that we'll be all right. We don't need to bother going. It'll be fine. It'll clear itself up. Don't. The doctor will not be happy with you not going. They're not going to thank you for leaving it. Just go. I would rather a doctor turn around and said, "You're wasting our time. You shouldn't have come. There's nothing here," rather than leave it and it goes too far.
Absolutely, and I think in the same way, if there are people to talk to, if it is people like Samaritans or Mind, or the Movember Foundation as well, especially this time of year, will point you in the right direction. I mean, I'm trying to raise a little bit of money for Movember myself because my granddad was diagnosed 4 years ago. Unfortunately, he pulled out. He was okay, but he still hit a couple of people I know, men and women alike. So make sure that you do get checked out if you feel there's something wrong, especially as a man. Don't be ashamed of it. There's no pride in waiting until it takes you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, without further ado, I think it's time to get this race underway. I'm sure the drivers are itching to get cracking with the racing. Looking forward to this one. It's a really, I love it. It's one of my favourite tracks. This, I love St Croix. It's really fast, and you get some great overtaking opportunities here. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
I know this is your show, I think, Mr. Pirate, so I'm going to leave you to it, but thank you for having me on. I'm very, very grateful, and I hope the Amigos feel that I've represented them.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get you in for a longer stint one day.
I'd love that. I'd be more than happy to join you, thank you.
Lovely, thanks, Squid.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. We are underway. That's the 5 lights, and we are go. Tech Racing with a good start, but Bonnie Val with a good start as well. Can he make a move up into turn 1 and take the lead of this race? He doesn't. Tech Racing does a really good job actually protecting the inside. He stays in the lead. Didn't have any problems in turn 1, which is brilliant. We love to see that. No one wants a red flag in this level of racing. Everyone here is very, very high quality, so you would expect to see some racing. So Tech Racing from Australia. He's been putting in some great times during practice, but already Bonnie Val sticking with him in that Mercedes AMG for Amigos. I'm sure that Amigos would love to get a win here today in Lankster's name. He's all over the back of Tech in that GTR. Can Tech keep him at bay? TJ up to 3rd in that BMW. That's a great start from him. He's jumped ahead of Stormfly in the Porsche 911. Yeah, that's Porsche 911. And you're going to be asking at some point why he's using 2 different Porsches, because in the feature race after this he'll use a different Porsche. It's because he doesn't want to have problems with oil. It seems to be that if you change your cars, you don't have any issues with change oil. Anyway, Stormfly trying to make the move around the outside of TJ in the BMW, not finding the room as yet. Has to tuck in behind through this really quick section in the tail end of St Croix B. We'll do an on-board minute once we get settled into the race. Stormfly does make the move, gets up the inside, makes that little switcheroo move on TJ up into 3rd. But already Bonnie Val and Tech Racing are 1.8 seconds up the road. Stormfly's going to want to close that gap as quickly as possible. Bearing in mind he is the current championship leader. He does not want to let those guys disappear. This race does 2 things. The sprint race here will set the grid for the feature race, of course, which will be 40 minutes with heavy damage and fuel and tyre consumption. It will also set the grids and grid positions for next week based on the fastest average laps, or fastest overall average. The truth, you'll find the truth always running around 5th or 6th, and usually what you find is where he floats around into the 5th or 6th place. When there's an issue up ahead, and there has been a couple of times this season, he lucks out and gains a position or 2, but doing a very, very good job already, holding on in 5th, the Canadian driver, just ahead of Osman from Wales. I don't know why PD don't let them have a Welsh flag, but he's running in 6th position, just ahead of Willie from Amigos. Excuse me. Avalon in that Porsche 911 in 8th position, 1.3 behind Willie as it stands. He's got Let's It Rip from sector 7 for company, just half a second back. He's running also in that BMW. Jay, he's up into lobby 1 again. He's been flitting between lobby 1 and lobby 2 all season, but finding himself more and more finding the pace into lobby 1 in that McLaren 650S. He's ahead, 3 seconds ahead of Wiggy, running in 11th position in the BMW. Not a great start from him. He's 2.4 ahead of Hovercraft from sector 7. We've only got the 12 runners this evening, 2 no-shows. Aero and Newton are no-shows this evening. Tech Racing still leads the way. He's pulled a little bit of a gap out now on Bonnie Val. Just 0.8 of a second. You can see Bonnie trying to stay within that 1 second, but it's a very difficult racetrack to follow around here. If you're tucked in behind the rear wing of a car for any significant amount of time, you find it unsettles your car. It makes it difficult. It's high-speed corners and keep the grip. I'm going to point this out because it's really annoying, Rob, I think, because you've got Scottish drivers, you've got Welsh drivers. They want to fly the flag. We've got two Welsh drivers in here, Osman and Wiggy, and neither of them can put. Well, I suppose they could fashion one on there, but it should be. And actually, what I think you should be able to pick what flag goes there. Because if we look, for instance, we've got. We've got drivers. We've got Stormfly flying the flag for the Netherlands. Yes, he lives in the Netherlands, but he's Hungarian. We've got a driver in Lobby 2, Slipstream, who is from New Zealand but lives in Poland. So it would be good if you could pick which flag you actually want to fly. That would make it a little bit better, I think. So Tech Racing still not being able to get rid of Bonnie Val. It's half second clear, the Aussie driver, and for him it's going to be quite early in the morning. I can't even talk to people at that time of the morning, and he's driving incredibly quickly. 2:07.1 is not a bad lap off the bat with a full tank of fuel, I can tell you. During practice there have been some 2:06, I think as low as a 2:06.5 has been seen this week in some of the practice lobbies. Will we see that under race conditions today? As Bonnie Val closing in on the back of Tech Racing as they go across the bridge. He pulls out up into the inside. Can he get this move done under braking in that Mercedes-Benz? You can see there he gets underneath them. They're side by side round that corner, and Bonnie Val takes first place here on lap 3 at St. Croix. 5 minutes into this 20-minute race, and Bonnie Val takes the lead from Tech Racing. The Truth up to third. It looks like Stormfly and TJ had a problem. TJ's way back in 12th, so he has clearly had an issue somewhere and crashed his car. Wondering whether Stormfly was involved in that incident. He's back now in 5th, with Osman and The Truth ahead. So did him and TJ have a little coming together maybe? Or was it just a case of both the cars had their own little problem? Stormfly moved back into 4th position. As we get to the start lap 4, I think we'll do it on board with Bonnie Val for this lap. All of these laps will be, I haven't done them all, I have got them, but our good friend Paul from PM10 Racing has done lap guides for all of the laps on all of the tracks for GT Alphas, and when I finally get around to pulling my finger out and doing the job, I will get all of them available for you on the YouTube and you can find them on the Discord. There's a couple up already, but I need to do more stuff and put them up for you all. But here we go. So this is on board with Bonnie Val. You head down it. It's a very, very quick racetrack, and you take most corners in third gear. There's a couple of slow corners, but the majority of corners are taken in third gear because it is so quick. Bonnie's been so flawless as well. I think the only mistake I've seen Bonnie Val make all season, other than not turning up for one of the races, of course, was in the qualifier at Willow Springs, where he led the entire race and then made a mistake right at the end, I think it was. Or was it right in the practice session actually? I think it was actually in a practice session. But yeah, he led the race and he was something like 9 seconds clear, and then binned it on the last lap to lose out to none other than Tech Racing, funny enough. But at the moment he's not been able to lose Tech Racing. Tech Racing is still there, lurking half a second back. That's the view from the front of the GTR of Tech Racing. These two now almost 3 seconds clear of The Truth up in third. Now, I said earlier about The Truth floating around there in 4th, 5th, 6th place, waiting for a mistake to happen ahead. It's benefited him yet again and moved him up into third. We will go through the tables when we in the break between the sprint and feature race. We'll have all the tables up and see what's what. We are at the halfway point, of course, so we're starting to see with the cream rising to the top. There have been a few changes in terms of classification for Pro and Pro-Am and etc. It hasn't been updated on the tables yet. It will be updated with the new table that's coming out after this race. So Bonnie Val leading the way. That's the dreaded penalty line, and a penalty there served is worth probably another 50%. So you get a 1 second penalty, you're probably losing 1.5 seconds as you round that final corner. There's the pins there on the right hand side. So Bonnie Val leads from Tech Racing, 2.9 seconds to The Truth, the Canadian driver running in that McLaren 650 S4 Sector 7 Racing. Stormfly 2 seconds back in the Adidas Porsche 911. And is anyone else disappointed that the new Porsche, as brilliant as it is, wasn't a racing car? I know I was. I was really disappointed. Don't get me wrong, I still bought it. I still drive it because I think it's a beautiful, beautiful car. But my heart sank a little bit when I found it wasn't a GR-rated car. Stormfly running 1.1 seconds ahead of Osman in that Super. I think he's the only Super runner in this GT3 World Championship. We've got one running in the Super, and we've got one Lexus driver as well. There's Willie. He's in that awesome, the GTR's an awesome car, and a very, very good car for this track actually, that GTR. 2.3 seconds back. He's got a bit of a gap actually to operate in. He's got Avalon 5 seconds behind him, 2.3 to Osman. He's not being troubled by the dirty air, and he's certainly not any trouble from the car behind at the moment. There is Avalon there. He's running in a similar position. Nice little gap either side. 5 seconds up the road from William, 4.5 seconds up from Jay. Jay though, look at this. This is a battle for 8th. There's Jay in 8th, Hovercraft 9th, TJ 10th, and Let It Rip in 11th position. And just look at this. This is from the American driver from Sector 7 in the BMW. BMW, I think Hovercraft's in the Lamborghini. He is indeed. And just ahead, that's the McLaren 650S. As Hovercraft pulls out to make this move up the inside, Jay tries to cut it off. Can't do that. They are running side by side. They've got the next turn coming, big braking zone for them is this right-hander, and it's Hovercraft just a little bit later on those brakes in that Lamborghini. Gets himself up into 8th position. Is Jay under a little bit of pressure now from TJ behind? Yes, he is. TJ round the outside, flicks that BMW round the outside, takes the inside line on that right-hander and up into 9th place. Jay trying desperately to hold on, but through also comes Let It Rip. So those guys making Jay disappear down the order from 8th down to 11th place. Wiggy not having the greatest of races at the moment. He's down in 12th position in that BMW. Don't know if he's having problems with his wheel or something, because he's been showing some great pace lately, but not today. Down in 12th. Out in front, no change. Body Valve still leads the way by 7/10 of a second. Tech Racing hanging on with him. I think these two are going to be the ones to beat today. They really are putting in some phenomenal lap times. Tech Racing with the fastest lap of the race thus far with a 2:07.1. Body Valve similar times, low to mid 207s, 207.666. The number of the beast. You can't handle the truth. Not today, you can't. He's up in 3rd place, the Canadian. 4 seconds back from the front two. So I think the big battle here on the racetrack today is going to be for 3rd place behind Body Val and Tech Racing. Stormfly is now starting to find his pace. He's closed that gap to the truth to 1.2 seconds. But Osman's still there with him as well. That's a 3-way battle going on there for 3rd place. We are 12 minutes in of this 20-minute sprint race. No tyres or fuel to worry about. That's not the concern today. That's more of an issue for the feature race, which is after this event. Body Valve for Tech Racing from the Truth. We're watching the battle for 3rd between Osman, Stormfly and the Truth Serum. You can see him just up there ahead, sparks flying. And I've got to say, I know this is the game's been out for over 18 months. And I often complain about Gran Turismo and what I want improved, things I think we should see in updates. But the fact of the matter is, it's a thing of beauty. And I'll show you one thing that I noticed earlier that I absolutely love. I'm trying to find it on one of the... It's that... If you look at the back of the car, you can see the reflection of the brake lights on the underside of the rear wing. And it's subtle, but it's brilliant, and it looks so realistic. And in this crazy battle, I suppose they call it, between what's better, Forza or Gran Turismo, for all the good things about Forza, it's just not got the aesthetic beauty of Gran Turismo 7. And I don't think there is a game out there in terms of the realism and how beautiful it looks that is close to Gran Turismo in terms of the aesthetics. It is one of the most aesthetically beautiful games. In fact, the most aesthetically beautiful game in my opinion on the market at the moment. I'm sure that there are other games out that might feel have better graphics, but I think this captures everything about racing very, very beautifully. So Osman dropping back a little bit from that battle now. He's no longer involved with that battle with Stormfly, and the truth, 3.6 seconds back, is actually dropping now into the clutches of the ART driver Wooly, who's closed that gap down to 1.1 seconds. Are we going to see Wooly get himself into the top 5? He's been running really well this season, actually. He's been getting some really solid results in Avalon, 8.5 seconds back, running in 7th place. He's got 3.2 over Hovercraft, and he's closing that gap slightly. The gap was 5 seconds. It's down to 3.1 seconds now. As we see, Let It Rip and TJ having a little side-by-side battle there. I don't know if we can catch the battle between them. So here we go, we can see Let It Rip tries to make the move on TJ, gets up the inside, and actually for this right-hander, but TJ does hold on around the outside in that BMW, and it's a BMW versus BMW there as well. So a good little battle between those two. Press the right button, and we go back to live footage. So there goes to TJ Hayes holding on. Jay in 11th, he's 1.8 seconds behind Henry, and Wiggy's a minute back now. There must be some sort of problem with, it looks to me. Yeah, there's some sort of problem with his car, I think, because he's only going 96 miles an hour, and he's absolutely flat to the floor. Surely he should be going. Don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's got a problem with his equipment. It looks to me like he may well do. You can see there the upgrades are so much faster through that section. So yeah, Wiggy's having some problems. Hope everything's all right with him. We know that he had an issue in a race a few weeks back, where I think it was into Lagos, where it just the wheel cracked out and he ended up flying into straight on into the ZRS. Yeah, it looks to me that he's having a technical issue of some sort. Right, Body Valve still leading the way, but cannot shake Tech Racing. These two disappearing off into the distance, 6.2 seconds of the battle for third. Tech Racing having a little look at the inside of Body Valve, but Body Valve just far enough ahead for it not to be a wise move. They're actually coming upon the back of Wiggy there with his technical problems. That's the impact of that on Wiggy is twofold, because not only is he going to start at the back in the feature race, if of course he gets working again, it's going to really affect his average lap time for next week, dropping down a little to lobby number 2, which of course, as you know, is worth less points. It's a 25 point bonus for being in lobby 1 on top of your standard race points. Rewards hard work. So the truth. Still holding on in third. He's got a gap of 2.5 to Stormfly, and he's running very similar pace actually to those guys out front in those high 207s, low 208s. He's only a couple of tenths slower than the guys ahead of him. Clearly they've disappeared, of course, but that's allowed him to keep 2.5 seconds clear of Stormfly. He'll be starting alongside, if it stays as it is, of course, we'll be starting alongside him on row 2. Stormfly's pace. Again, similar pace, high 207s, near low 208s, but just can't close that gap on the Canadian driver. He has opened up the gap from Osman though. Osman is slowly actually dropping backwards towards Wooly. Can Wooly make up that 1.3 seconds? Oh, he's a good run on him there. He's a very right-hander, good run on him. Half a second is closing. It's in that slipstream, allowing the toe from that Supra to put it ever so much closer to the back of the Welsh driver's car in that Croix light Toyota Supra. So Nissan Supra, then we've got the Nissan, of course not, because Wooly is in this, and he's like Nissan GT3, just half a second back. A nice little comfortable gap between them now and Hovercraft. He's running in 7th place, and still not able to shake Avalon though. He's moving way up. let it rip up into 8th position in that. Oh no, I'm really going to say he's actually dropped a position. Hovercraft's closed on him. It's closed on him. Can let it rip, close up 1.7 seconds. He's giving him, there's a little flash there from TJ behind let it rip to say I'm here. I don't know what he thinks the flashing's going to do, because let it rip, the sector 7 driver has absolutely no obligation to move out of his way. This is identical machinery, so this is Dutchman versus American for supremacy in this sprint race. Lap 9. We should see an additional lap from the front runners. Possibly these guys should make an additional lap as well. TJ, I think Jay also, he's not too far back, he's 3.4 seconds back from these guys, so Jay should get a lap turn as well. Wiggy with his technical problems will finish on this lap. You can see that where the technical problems kicked in. He had a problem on lap 1 wasn't super quick, about 10 seconds down on lap 1. He was running quite well in those low 209s, high 208s, and then from lap 5 something went horribly wrong for him. Bonnie Val has extended that lead on this final lap here to just under 1 second as they go across the bridge for the final time in this sprint race around Wiggy, of course. Tech Racing has only a few corners left really to make the move. There's not, most of the overtaking opportunities are in the first sort of 2/3 of this racetrack. Then it gets a little bit tighter, a little bit harder to pass. We've got this long run down towards the final sector, and then a couple of opportunities there in that final sector to make an overtake. If you can get close enough, of course, you've got to sit in the dirty air to get close enough to make the pass. Of course, as they say, it's easy enough to catch, because that's one thing, but it's another complete thing to pass. But these two are doing a very good job. It's like 10 seconds over Stormfly. Well, what happened? What's happened to the Truth? The Truth had a problem somewhere, because Stormfly now up into 3rd place, Osman up into 4th, Wooly into 5th. The Truth, the sector 7 driver, losing 3 places down into 6th position on this lap, and he's far enough ahead of his teammate Hovercraft for that not to be an issue, but that's going to be so disappointing for the Truth to drop down so many places towards the end there. And Bonnie Val takes the checkered flag with Tech Racing just behind him. Really close. A good start to the proceedings here at St. Croix. Stormfly lucks out a little bit with a problem for the Truth, takes 3rd. Osman 2.3 seconds back in 4th place. Good ride from him. Woody holds on for 5th. The Truth home in 6th. Hovercraft, his teammate, rounds that final corner. He'll come across the line. The American driver finishing in 7th position. Ahead of Avalon in that 911, finishing with a penalty as well. That's 10th for him. Lets it rip. Must have nicked that right at the death there, because I'm sure it was Avalon coming through. I know we're not going to get the replay now, are we? Of course we're not. But great racing there from Bonnie Val. I was going to say bided. He bowed his time. He found his way around Tech Racing and up into the lead, and never looked like he was going to lose it at any stage. So there we go. That's the sprint race done and dusted. I do need to take a picture of this because it sets the grid for the next one. Very nearly reset it without taking a photograph. That would have been awkward, wouldn't it? Hang on, get my camera out. There we go. I could just screenshot it. Oh no, that's my face. Let me turn the camera around, folks. Let's try to scan it. I don't want it to scan it, I want it to take a picture. There we go. That's that one. So, Bonnie Val from Tech Racing, Stormfly from Osman, Tech Racing with the fastest lap, Wooly from The Truth, Hovercraft from TJ, Let It Rip from Avalon, Jay from Star Group, who had some sort of technical issue and finished in 12th position. There we go. Right. What we're looking at, so we'll have a 5-minute break. I know we won't. We'll start at 45. Yeah. I've got a keyboard here, Andy. Use the bloody keyboard. Okie dokie. Right, I'm going to... Stormfly's going to go in there. I think he's going to oil up his car. Let's I nearly started the race then. What an idiot. Right. Let's load up the feature race, shall we? I didn't save the replay, but I don't really care. Let's make sure I've got everything correct here. I think I have. Yeah, all looks all good. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Yeah, damage is right. There we go. Change event settings. Boom. There we have it. Right. We're going to have a quick break. Yeah, I'm going to do a full-on pit walk. Sorry, guys. I haven't been interacting much with the chat today. Sorry, guys. For some reason, I had it closed at the side of the screen. Yeah, firstly, thank you to everybody from ART for coming and paying tribute to Lankster. Thank you to Super Squid for coming and joining me at the beginning and talking a little bit about Lankster and what he meant to you guys at ART and to the community in general. And these guys racing in his honour, it's fantastic. Yes, I think interviews are in order today, Bonnie, and now I've got it working. Yeah, we'll take the top three, and we'll character assassinate you live for the world to see. You've got to finish the top three first, though, mate. Don't get too brave. Yeah, I will do a pit walk, Rob. I'm waiting to see Machine Gun Kelly on the pit so I can punch him in his stupid face. Anyway, yeah, starting at 45. Yes. Let me reply to him. You noticed I can't multitask. Right, there we have it. Okay, I'm going to go and grab a quick drink and I'm going to pee. The drivers are going to go and have a little poo or a pee or whatever they do in their little break. We'll be back very shortly with more action. I have returned. I have returned. Right, where were we? Oh, I need to set a grid. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? I think we're just waiting for one driver to come back. I can start setting the grid now, can't I? Get my phone out of my pocket. That'd be useful because that's actually got the grid on it. Great start though. Got to say, some great, really great racing. I shouldn't host and broadcast at the same time because I really am not very good at multitasking. I never have been. It's because I'm a man. Right, so on pole, of course, is Bonnie Val after that brilliant performance in the sprint race. Tech Racing will join Bonnie Val on the front row. Stormfly in third, and it will be Osman. Really good result from Osman, finishing fourth. Joining him on the second row. Helps if I actually move Osman and not Wiggy. There we go, Osman. Then row 3, we're going to have Wooly, who will be on row 3 with The Truth, who was third for so long in that race and just couldn't hold on. Had a little problem on that second to last lap and found himself dropping down the order. Then behind him, his teammate Overcraft for Sector 7. He is on row 4 alongside TJ, who started well but couldn't maintain the pace and dropped down the order. Did fight his way back a little bit, but can only finish in 8th place. 9th will be another Sector 7 driver in Let It Rip. There he is in that other BMW. He had a good battle with TJ last time out. Well, we see more of the same again in that M6. Behind him was Avalon Shadow. He will be on row 5 with him. Then it'll be Old Man Jay, and Wiggy will be in 12th place. Hopefully Wiggy, also in that M6, can sort out his technical problems. Right, is everyone ready? That's what we need to check. There we go. You can see there at the moment Sector 7 are leading the way in the championship, which is incredibly annoying. Come on, Black Flag, sort yourself out. Everyone is ready. So 40 minutes. It's going to be about tyre strategy, fuel strategy. You can use whatever tyres and fuel tyres you like, but we'll see how we get on in this feature race. And very nearly entered the race myself, which I don't want to do. Let's get cracking, shall we? I wondered why I couldn't hear anything, and I've realised I haven't got my headphones on. I'll do that in a sec. Let's get there. Let's get all my bits up. Hang on. Trying to do too much at the same time. Let's play all. Let's get the driver's names off. We know who's who, don't we, by this stage? Right, so here we go. Anyone notice it's taking ages for the lights to go out since the update? That's 5 lights, 1 more light out, and away we go. Can Bonnie Val maintain the lead into turn 1? Tech Racing does get a good start, not quite as good as Bonnie Val. Bonnie Val very quick off that line. Wooly with a fabulous start up into 3rd into turn 1. That's 2 ART drivers in the top 3, or top 4 now, as Stormfly regains 3rd position. You can see there Osman trying around the inside of Wooly. Wooly sandwiched a little bit between Stormfly and Osman, and finds himself back in 5th place. Can he work his way back through the order? Wouldn't it be an awesome fitting tribute to Lankster if Wooly could get himself onto the podium today and make it an ART double podium here in Lobby 1? And of course, if Colum and who else is in Lobby 2? It's Colum and Hockers, I think. Is Hockers racing today? I can't remember. Or Websons. I think it's Websons in Lobby 2. If they can get themselves on the podium as well. We will rebroadcast. Oh, and anyone wondering about the race last week, I couldn't broadcast. I will rebroadcast it tomorrow. I promise. I was going to do it today, right? So this is what happened, right? So my missus is obsessed with Christmas, absolutely fucking obsessed. And she had it her way. We would have Christmas decorations up 12 months ago, but she decided she would decorate for Christmas today. I can't tell you how much Christmas stuff she's got. She's got enough to decorate 3 freaking houses. But she had every single Christmas decoration box out. And there were so many of them, they were all over the front room and all over the hallway, and I was actually trapped in my kitchen for an hour and a half because I couldn't get past all the boxes, so I couldn't come and do the podcast. Genuine, I was trapped in my own kitchen by Christmas. So far, only the trees up. I won't tell him this because I always moan about it, but he doesn't. But the rest of it she's going to do next week in the kitchen school. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So, Bonnie Val holds the lead of this race from Tech Racing, but it looks like more of the same. They're already starting to pull away a little gap from Stormfly. Stormfly will not want to see, this is the view from Stormfly's car, and he won't want to see this. This is what he can see. It's those two cars just pulling a little gap. He won't want that gap to get too big. He'll want to try and stay in touch with them. But he's also got to contend with this guy, Osmond, right up behind him in that Coors Light Racing Supra, tucked nicely in behind the Adidas 911 of Stormfly. I do like that. That kind of army green coupled with the yellow on the back of that car. Very, very cool. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. Gap back to Woody, 1.2 seconds. Just starting to get cut adrift now by these top four. So the battle of the moment for third is Stormfly and Osmond. Battle for first is Bonnie Val and Tech Racing. Osmond is staying in touch though with those two. Thought he was going to go a little bit wide there, but does hold it as they go across the bridge here on lap 2. Hovercraft, he's back there in 6th place. He's got the truth. His teammate tucked right behind him. Look at that. And closing fast. Can the truth get a move done into this sweeping right-hander, left-hander, right-hander, to my left from my right, can't get the job done this time, and he is sticking with him. Let it rip there. That's 3 set to 7 drivers. Hovercraft, the truth, and Let It Rip. The Canadian driver sandwiched between those two Americans. We having a much better time of it in the M6 this time out. Whatever problems he's had have now been fixed. He is just half a second back from the American driver, Let It Rip, for Black Flag. His teammate Avalon, look at him there, tucked in that 911, just tucked in behind the BMW. There is Jay in 11th place. I tell you what, that's quite a big gap. And TJ, I don't know what happened to him, but he's clearly had to pay for damage on the front because he is miles back. Couldn't see what happened to him, but it's not going too well for him thus far. But this is the battle currently raging on, and this is the battle for 8th place. Is it 9th? More than that. I mean, it's good. There's not that much separating. We're looking all the way up here. The truth there in 6th. Hovercraft, Let It Rip, Wiggy, Avalon, and Jay separated by not very much at all. 3 seconds separates those cars. 1.8 to Wooly. He's 5 seconds already behind the leaders. Talking of the leaders, a little bit more love for Amigos there. Bonnie Val is just half a second clear of Tech Racing. I've got to open my, I've got a can of drink out there. Pepsi out of the fridge. That's better. My throat hurts. And I've got my gloves back on. I've got show my age now. I had an allergy issue to penicillin a while back, and it caused all my skin all over my hands and feet to crack horribly. My hands still haven't really that great, so I have to wear these stupid cotton gloves and a bit like Michael Jackson. I still like him too. I don't touch kids though, so we haven't got all of those things in common. And I'm not a millionaire. I'm just a crazed millionaire with a fairground in my back garden. Right, Bonnie Val leading the way from Tech Racing. I think we're going to find these two duking out pretty much the whole race. It's going to be about, I think with these two, it's going to be about consistency, not making a mistake. And as we were saying earlier with Super Squid, is that Bonnie Val does this time and time again on a controller, sitting on the couch, and it makes me sick. Absolutely does. How you doing, Nick Becker? He won the sprint race. He got past Tech Racing and held on for the win in the sprint, which of course gave him pole here. And he's doing all right in a minute. He's holding Tech Racing at bay, not able to pull a gap on him though. And it's going to be incredibly frustrating. So I think it's going to be about tyre and fuel management. I don't think anyone's opted to do anything other than softs here. We'll have a look. Let's have a look. Tyres and fuel choices. So Bonneville, of course, went with the racing softs, as did Tech Racing. You can see already that Bonneville is a bit more tired than Tech, a bit more fuel at this stage. Pit window will be open, of course, unless they crash and they need to repair their car. But I think we'll see the first pit window open somewhere around lap 10, maybe. We'll see how they go on. So he's racing softs all round. Stormfly on the softs, but he's got Osman right in there behind him, and Osman being very, very serious with the use of those tyres in 4th place. Wooly running in 5th. He's in his mirrors. He has got 3 Sector 7 drivers, and the truth moves up to 7th position. So I'm going to turn down the game sentiment here a bit too loud. Getting a bit annoying when you hear this, I think. Found myself shouting. Yeah, so Wooly running in 5th place, but in his mirrors, this is what he can see. Go like that. You can see there, that is 3 Sector 7 drivers. Sector 7, of course, currently leading the team championship in this GT3 World Championship Series. And they're going to continue leading it if they can hold on in 6th, 7th and 8th. Because it's essentially the way the team championship works is the top 3 point scorers for the team. Those points go towards your team total. So that way, as we see there, Hovercraft, the truth, making a great little move there around the side of the and getting that done very nicely. You see him tucked in there behind that GTR and just moves across to that right hand side, gets on the brakes and just makes that move. The actual Canadian, he won't thank me for that. The Canadian driver for the American race team, led by Nuke, of course. Excuse me, I can't shake this cough. Led by Nuke, of course, doing a great job. It looks like a really good team. Sector 7. Look forward to more racing with these guys, but not if they win the team championship. They're banned from any other ones. I'm only joking. So Wooly at the moment, his concentration is less about closing in to try to get into the top 4 at the moment, but keeping the Sector 7 drivers at bay. They are swarming all over him, and he picks up a 1 second penalty. That's going to allow Hovercraft and Let It Rip to breeze past him when he serves that penalty towards the end of this lap number 5. Fastest lap on the board is from Tech Racing with 2:07.5. I think Bonneville at the moment has the edge. I think he has more fastest laps. I think it's 3 or 4 fastest laps. I think it's 3 fastest laps so far in this series. I think it's 3 or 4. So Tech Racing will want to be adding another one to his cost. I think he's got 2. Bonneville's got 3. Slipstream's got 1. I can't remember who's got the other one for. I think Bonneville's got 4 if you include the qualifier, which I'm sure we can. So Hovercraft and Let It Rip both trying to chase down Wooly from Amigos. That will drop him right down the order. He won't want to be stuck behind those Sector 7 drivers. Wiggy has fixed whatever problems he was having in his BMW. 3.8 seconds behind Let It Rip at the moment. 3.2 ahead of his teammate Avalon, running in 10th place in that Porsche 911. The gap to Jay is opened up to about 5 seconds, just over 5 seconds. He's still got a 13-second lead over TJ, who had a very bad problem early on. So you can see that lap 1 at 2:47. Big issue for him on lap 1, which has caused him to drop way down the order. But he is starting to put in those mid 2:08s now, finding his pace and trying to close down now on the back of Jay. It's going to be a couple of laps before he's ready to do that, though. Can Jay hold on to the pit window? That might change things. Tech Racing has taken the lead of this race. Can we see where that move was done? Or was it already done? It was already done. So Tech Racing's taken the lead of this race from Bonneville and has already pulled out a gap of 1 second. Now, did Bonnie have a penalty that allowed Tech Racing just to breeze on through and make that little gap? 2:07.4 on the board for Tech, and bearing in mind, still not on low fuel yet. I know we're going to see a 206 today. We've seen them in practice and training all week. We know there's a 206 in there somewhere. But it's going to be, I think, if it's anyone, it's going to be Tech or Bonnie that put in that 206. And I think they're going to need a little bit of slipstream and some low fuel, which will do it. So we might see it towards the end of this stint, or possibly towards the end of the race, particularly if they're still duking it out between them. But it's a long race to go. We're only on lap 6. We're only 1/4 of the way through this 40-minute race. So we've got 24 laps of this race in total. We've only had 6 of them, so plenty of racing still to go. Tech wasn't able to hold on to that 1 second lead already. Bonneville closing that gap back up for the Amigos Racing Team. And I do love these races. I'm not a big fan actually of the nighttime racing to broadcast because it's very difficult to see. But this kind of twilight stuff. I've had a little issue apparently. So that should be alright now. Should be alright. I don't know where the lag's coming from, but it's fixing. So Bonneville is still holding on. Stormfly though, they haven't been able to pull away like they did in the sprint race. Stormfly's still there, only 1.8 seconds between him and those two out in front. Quite easily to make that up. And of course, if either of those two up front have a problem, or they, God forbid, come together, Stormfly can then breeze into the lead of this race. Osman was right up behind Stormfly in that 911, but has dropped off a little bit. He's crazy pace, isn't it, Urban? Absolute crazy pace. I can tell you now that my best lap, and I haven't been racing much to be fair, but my best lap I did today was like a 2:12, I think, something ridiculous like that. These guys are doing like 6 seconds quicker. They are just so quick. But the thing is as well, it's the margins. We've got Tech, we've got Bonneville, we've got Stormfly. He's in lobby 2 this week. He's only just come back from the States. We've got Slipstream, who'll be back up in lobby 1, no doubt, next week. He's got a similar pace to those guys out there. Osman as well is running really well. The Truth, he's incredibly consistent with the Truth. And again, what did I say about him being 5th, 6th place? That's where he knocks around, and that's why he's second in the championship, because he's pretty clever with sort of sitting in that's kind of just outside that top. He's not putting in alien pace out in front, but he's putting out the sort of pace that keeps him in that sort of top 5 and there or thereabouts in case there are any problems there. And it's always good for him. Always good performance from the Truth, which is why, of course, as I said, he's second in the championship. We have a quick look at the top 10 championship standing. Have a quick look. So Stormfly currently leads 914 points. There's the Truth, 896 running in second. Tech Racing currently leads this race, 853. Hovercraft, who's currently running in 6th, he is 4th in championship, 845 points. TJ, the Dark Horse, he's dropped down the order here, he's right at the back at the moment, but 835 points, 2 points clear of Aero, didn't race today. He was due to race, Bonneville missed a race early on. I think it was week 2 missed a race, so he had to work his way back into lobby 1, 801 points. But with the second place here today, he's going to close that gap significantly. I think he's going to lead Stormfly or the Truth, or Stormfly the Truth, to miss a race at some stage. There is a drop round, of course, which will come into play after round 11. So round 12 will not be dropped. Wiggy there in 8th, Wooly there, still in the top 10, 690, a level on points for Avalon at the moment. So that's how it looks in the overall championship. We've got several different championships running. We've got the overall championship, of course. We've got the Pro Class Championship, Pro-Am. I think we're going to do away with the Am Championship just because there's not that many Am drivers left in it, and I think a few have been promoted and stuff. There's a couple of Pro drivers that'll be promoted into the Pro group for that, and then of course we've got the Team Championship, and there is a separate championship for the reserves because they're up and down throughout the lines. But they in the intermission, if you were here when I went for a wee. Right, Sector 7. Look at that. The Truth, Hovercraft, Let It Rip. Nothing separating them really. Just a few seconds really separating those 3 Sector 7 drivers. Wooly, the big loser there, though, dropping down to 8th. Swarmed by Sector 7 there, and has dropped down the order into. I need to close something on my PC because for some reason I'm having issues with dropped frames. So you can only be through my CPU. Kids are swearing at each other upstairs. Sorry, moving swiftly on. I was trying to listen to what they were arguing. I think they were arguing about the animals. Right, Tech Racing has opened up a gap now for Body Valve 1.3. So Body Valve no longer getting the benefit of the slipstream, but also not getting the dirty air. So we're looking at, I said lap 10 was our kind of pit window-ish. Looking at tyres, we're not far off. That being the point. I think we're looking at a one-stop today. You get it to 20 minutes, then it's a one-stop race all day long. We've seen Tech Racing drive on some appalling tyres, so we know it is. They are capable of running with the tyres right down to the end. It is top quality. No, there's been no real crashes either. We had a few stewarding issues early on, but I think we've had a couple of weeks now with little to no steward inquiries. I think we had a couple of weeks ago. We had a couple of weeks ago where there was no stewarding, not one stewarding issue. I think last week there was just a couple. So yeah, it's testament to the quality of the drivers in this GT3 World Championship. And coming up in 2024, we've got another new championship for 2024, which will be announced shortly. They are fixed cars, so a different car for each race, over 10 races, lots of different types and classes of car, different challenging racetracks. Body Val running in second, but hasn't been able to close back to within 1 second of Tech Racing. Stormfly 3 seconds back, was not able to stick with them. He did get it down to 1.8 seconds, but it just seems that since Tech has gone ahead of Body Val, they've just opened up that gap a little bit. But looking at Body's tyres, he's got a lot of work to do to keep that car on the road and match pace with Tech. And still one stop this race, and this is going to switch on to some medium compound tyres, which certainly will harm his pace. Stormfly's doing a much better job looking after the tyres, although the rear left-hand tyre looking a little bit ropey there. Fuel-wise, there's definitely a couple of laps left in that. Osman faring much better. He can go quite a bit deeper into this race. That's Tech in and Bonnie in, so they're in just shy of the halfway point at the end of lap 9. Stormfly staying out, and he's got the tyres and fuel to do that, so he's going to take the lead off this race, albeit just for the time being. But Osman coming in. Now that's strange actually. I would have expected to see Osman staying out, because his tyres and his fuel were in a much better condition than those around him, and surely he would have known they were in that condition. You can see it for himself. He has opted though to come in early. It does mean he'll spend less time in the pits, of course. An awful lot of fuel on board. Probably could have got a little bit less and come out a little bit earlier. The Truth also in the pits. He comes out now. So Let It Rip has stayed out, as has Wooly, as has Wiggy. That's your top four. That little yapping here is from my daughter's dog trying to fuck with the cat. And the cat is going to mess him up. He's only a little dash out, and my cat's like twice his size. I wish I could film this and show it because it is ridiculous. One of them's going to get hurt. It's going to be the dog, and it's going to be funny. So your race leader was Tech Racing. He came into the pits. He is back out in 5th position here on lap 10. Went in a little bit shy of the halfway point, but should make it to the end. And I don't know why I thought it was 24 laps, if you count properly. So Tech Racing from Body Valve 3.3 seconds. They spent a lot more time in the pits for Body than it was for Tech, because that's quite a big gap. The Body Valve now has to try and close, and Tech Racing is currently the fastest driver on the racetrack. Osman, 3 seconds is the gap to Body Valve. Now the key here is going to be, does the early stop for Osman, who was a couple of seconds back from Stormfly, does that early stop help him jump Stormfly when he goes into the pits? Jay up to 8th, but he has stayed out. He's got actually go quite deep into this race. And he's having a little battle there with Osman. Was that Osman he's having a battle with? Sorry, the truth. Oh, Jay gets it all kinds of wrong. What happened to him there? It looks like he just got a little bit brave with that loud pedal. And you can see there is the truth making the move after his pit stop up the inside of Jay. Jay coming round. He's a little bit wide as he comes round. And he just gets a little bit brave on that loud pedal. And it spins him into the wall. Unnecessary fight, really, I think, there from Jay. The truth was it was already been in the pits. I know it's for track position, but he still does have to come in. He's going to come in now and repair that damage anyway. So let it rips in. Wooly is in. Jay is in. He's got some repairs to make to that car. Hovercraft has pitted. He's going to come through now, move up the order. So Wiggy now leads the race because where is Stormfly gone? There he is. Stormfly back out in 5th. So that actually worked for Osman. So Osman doing the undercut on Stormfly has gained him about 5 seconds because he was about 2.5, 3 seconds back. He's made the pit stop and come out ahead of Stormfly, who is now in 5th place. So a big loss for Stormfly there. Wiggy stayed out in that BMW M6. He'll pit at the end of this lap. Now, we've already seen the undercut seems to be the way forward because it's certainly worked there for Osman. Is this going to cost Wiggy more places than necessary, just staying out that little bit longer? Tech Racing came out of the pits. It was 3.5 seconds up from Bonnie Val when he came out. He's opened that gap up to 4 seconds. Is this where we see now him go hammer time and just open up that gap and give himself a nice bit of breathing room and an opportunity, of course, to put in one of his blistering 207 fastest laps. Currently is the fastest lap, 207.4. There is a 206 in the bin somewhere. He is currently purple, 10th, nearly 2 tenths up on that time. If we can find a couple more tenths, we'll see at the first 206 of the evening. And I've got no doubt if he does put in time like that, he will be getting the fastest lap of the race. So Wiggy's in the pits. Through comes Tech. We'll see Bonnie Val come through as well. The gap now to Osman, who is now in the top 3. To be fair, I expected Osman to be knocking around that top 3, top 4 all season, but because he's missed a couple of races, it's been a bit stop-start for him. And so it's good to see he's now finding his feet and finding his way onto the podium. And some great podium finishes from this. I think the top 5 have all had podiums so far in this GT Alpha series. There's a couple of podiums that were not racing today, or sitting down in long 2. The Truth running in 5th yet again, 2.6 behind Stormfly. He has already started closing the gap on us, down to 2.1 seconds, but he's given himself a lot of work to do in this second half of this race. Just 15 minutes to go, 8 laps, 7 to 8 laps to go for these drivers. There is Let It Rip. He was, now at one stage we had The Truth, Let It Rip and Hovercraft, and Wiggy is disconnected. Is that because of the problems he's been having? We know he had some problems earlier, certainly through the sprint race, whether that was with his equipment. Was it a more sinister issue? Because we've just lost him from this race, which of course will promote TJ's in the pits now. He's got a bit of damage to repair. He's back in 11th place. He's on lap 7. Is he quitting this race? It looks like he might be, actually. I think he's, it looks to me that he, see how long he's been in the pits. He is quitting this race. Quietly quitting in the pitting. So that'll leave Jay in the top 10. That's not something we like to see, a driver quitting the race at this stage. It's not, you're in the top long, man. Whether you're having a bad race or not, you should still race it. But everyone knows how to feel. Right, Jay's 4.6 behind Avalon. A lot of work for him to do. He's been lapping. He's got into those kind of high 209s, but then couldn't find any form really after his fast lap of 209.8. And it's into 213s, 211s. struggle a little bit with the consistency. And there is that real danger when you do put in a blistering lap that's really quick in comparison to your standard lap time, that you do then try and push to do better. And at the time, that can be a detriment to the time because you're pushing too hard and making mistakes, and you end up losing time. Avalon, he's on a personal best at the moment. He's been running solidly in those low 211s. I said my best lap was a 212. That was my best lap, and that was a hot lap as well. Most of the time. Anyway, Hovercraft. 208.5 for him. That's pretty darn good pace. As we see Tech Racing with that sub 207, and it's not just a sub 207, it's a sub 206 8, 206.6 even. So he's knocked almost a second, 0.8 of a second off of his previous fastest lap on that last lap. With that 206, that is a blistering lap. So he had the 207.4, he did a 207.0, and he just looked another 0.4 off and done a 206.6. And that has opened up the gap to Bonneville. Bonneville's just not been able to stick with him in this feature race, and he's opened that gap up to 8.3 seconds. Is he able to really push and give himself a big enough gap to nip into the pits, not have to worry about tyres too much? I don't know if we've got enough time left in the race for him to do that, but that's blistering pace out front from Tech Racing, who's been silently working his way through the order and bringing some brilliant drama. Team captain, of course, of well, no, it's still quick, DJ. It's still quick. But that's what the steward inquiries are for, mate. If you've got delivery pushed off, you submit a steward inquiry and then it gets dealt with. Right, Bonneville. Not only is Bonneville no longer sticking with Tech Racing, Bonneville now has an Osmond-shaped problem of the Welsh driver there in the Supra, just 0.7 of a second behind the AMG of the Amigos driver Bonneville. Really putting some pressure on the moment in the Cause Like car. Stormfly's closed the gap as well, 1.6 seconds. So not too far off getting back into the podium for the current championship leader. He can see second place up ahead. All the while, of course, he can't see Tech Racing. Tech Racing is miles up the road. So as they come round, and this is a brilliant shot here, look, the mountains in the distance, coming round onto this bridge at St. Croix. The earlier you can get on the power there, the better. Of course, you don't want to go plowing into the side of the bridge. But it's a nice long run down here, really revving out that engine as you head down towards this big braking zone, this sweeping left-hander. And yeah, so second now is the gap between him and Osmond. A really tricky right-hander there, because you're coming in at quite some pace, and you want to get back on the power nicely for this run down towards the final sector. And it is quite a long run down. You haven't got you're making power through this right-hander here, and there's a move up ahead. Is that Osmond making a move on Bonneville? He's pretty darn close. He's having a look. He did have a look around the outside. Bonneville did a really good job of blocking off the inside there. But this is a great shot. This is a great shot. I'm going to have a look and see if Bonnie's got damage in a sec, actually. No, he has got damage, yes. You're absolutely right. So the bit of damage for Bonneville, which is why he's now off the pace. Now, here's the question. When you get that kind of damage, is it worth... You've obviously got to assess how long it's going to take to repair, because it's heavy damage. You've got to work out how much time you're going to be losing. Would it have been worth Bonneville jumping into the pits when the gap was bigger and getting that damage repaired, rather than leaving it so you're essentially at the mercy of those cars behind that are operating at full capacity? And Stormfly's getting a great run on the back of Osmond. Osmond's getting a great run on the back of Bonneville, and this could be a massive turnaround actually from the sprint race, which Bonneville won convincingly from everybody except Tech Racing, shall we say. Round they come. This little section that takes you down to the bridge again. The Adidas 911. Now there's nothing separating these guys. little bit twitchy in that AMG from body valve, and that's giving Osman a decent run. The only benefit really for Slipstream here is that double, sorry for Stormfly is that double slipstream. But of course Osman is getting some slipstream from the car ahead. But great exit there in that 911. If he can just hold it around this corner, just be a little bit brave. You can't say that the Dailies are cleaner. That's a ridiculous statement. The stewarding's there for a reason. It solves problems. You know, if it's one particular driver, then obviously we deal with it. There we have it. Anyway, moving swiftly on. That is the move by Osman up into second. Stormfly having a little look up the inside into the braking zone. Body valve holding on for dear life at the moment. Both on the grass. He's going to have to let off and get back on the racetrack. Gets it a little bit wrong there. That just gives body valve a little bit of a reprieve. But mostly the reprieve goes to Osman, because Osman can now disappear off up the road. He's got that shield of body valve between him and Stormfly. And Stormfly's now got to make up that little bit of a time he lost on the grass to close up that gap. And only 7 minutes remain, so about 3 and a bit laps, 4 laps maybe, to the end of this race to get that job done. That was at one stage a surefire podium for Stormfly, but all change now. Right, there's your race leader, Tech Racing, 12.7 seconds ahead, fastest lap of the race, and cruising to victory here. Osman now up into second and already starting to edge away from Body Valve in third. Body will stay in that slipstream for as long as possible to try and protect the place in the top 3 to make sure it's another podium for the ART driver. But a bit of a devastating blow, bearing in mind that he starts on pole. Damage is damage. What happens? When it happens, you kind of got to go with it. And you can see the difference in the pace that he's got. Since then, he was solidly in those 207s, now dropping out to 209s there in third. 1.7 seconds gap to Stormfly, 1.8 back to Detruth. Detruth still within a shot of a top 3 here. Any mistakes out in front from Stormfly or Body Val, and he's in the Canadian driver. 17 seconds up from Woody, who's holding on in the top 6 at the moment, but half a second clear of Let It Rip. Half a second, that's the gap as it stands. Half a second clear of Let It Rip. Is he going to be able to do anything about it? Is he going to be able to hold him off? Bearing in mind that we saw early on in this race the 3 Sector 7 drivers real woolly in and drop him down from the top 5 into 8th position, and Let It Rip having another try at doing that again. So Wooly's got a couple of laps to try and hold off the American driver. 5 seconds back is Hovercraft, the final runner from Sector 7. 20 seconds up from Avalon, and he's 13 seconds up the road from Jay, and TJ's in the pits. 13.2 seconds is the lead for Tech Racing. Tyres looking good, fuel looking good for everybody. Osman now 1.9 seconds clear of Body Valve. Stormfly right back up behind Body Valve. Wants to get this job done. Needs to get this job done ASAP. There's not long left in this race. Just a couple of laps left. Does not want to get held up behind Body Valve while Osman has a free run ahead. Getting very out of shape there, Bonnie. Very out of shape. Does manage to rescue it, but some serious damage to the rear of that car. Is that going to? Is the truth now going to reel Body Val in and drop in close to the teammate Wooly, who's just lost out to Let It Rip. So Let It Rip moving through. I think Let It Rip's a little bit too far back to reel Body Val in, but the truth certainly is there or thereabouts. There is Stormfly. If he wants to move up one step on the podium, he's got to find 2.3 seconds in the next lap and a bit. About a lap and a half between him and, well, is it 2 laps? Might be 2 laps left for these guys if they can. I'm trying to work it out actually. Math is not a strong point. There might be 2 laps left for these. If they can get, if there's more than 2 minutes 7 seconds left on the clock when across the line. There will be another lap. There certainly will be for Tech. That goes without saying. There he is, 14 seconds clear. He's about to complete his his penultimate lap 18. Rounds that final corner. 14 seconds clear. There's Osmond in that Supra. 2.2 is the gap to Stormfly. And there he is running in third. The Truth has got around Bonnie Val now. Bonnie Val already 7-8 seconds back on the Truth. He's really struggling. And that, I think, lets it rip, actually closing at some rate behind him. This could be a good opportunity for Sector 7 to score loads and loads of points in the race for the team championship. And it will actually open up a bigger gap with just Stormfly up there in the top 3. The next black flag driver is down there in 9th, and that's Avalon, running in 9th place, and Jay in 10th. So they'll be the top 3 point scorers for black flags championship. Behind Hovercraft, Let It Rip, and The Truth, or Sodium Pentothal, as he's otherwise known, that's his chemical name. Can he close on Stormfly now? Now here's the question, has the Canadian driver got enough pace in the bag? It's 207.2 is his fastest lap. Stormfly's is a 207.4. Has he got the pace? Has he got some extra pace to find over the next couple of, or next lap and a half to close that 2.2 second gap on Stormfly? Stormfly definitely offers to try to close on Osmond, who's been 273 since but sitting in those low 208 frequencies the last couple of laps. 247, 271 for him in those last couple of laps. Stormfly a little bit quicker, 151 and a 169. Yeah, he's really struggling, isn't he? Let It Rip's got that gap down to 8.9 seconds. It was 18 seconds on that last lap. He's in real danger of dropping out of the top 5 here, and potentially could be caught by his teammate Wooly as well, if Wooly can just keep up this pace. So, of course, it's probably 1 minute 18 for them to get to the finish line to get an additional lap, which will obviously make it a lot easier for them. So Tech Racing 14, nearly 15 seconds clear. Going to start the last lap of the race. Osmond is going to come through in second. He's going to start the last lap. TJ should be now, so we don't have to wait an age for the race to finish. 1.1 seconds is the gap now. Stormfly really putting the pressure on Osmond. That was a blistering last lap from him. Osmond's last lap 208.7, a 207.9 from Stormfly. He's not happy with the way the story's written, and he wants to rewrite it. He wants to rewrite it with him on the second step of the podium and the Welshman on the step behind him. Is The Truth going to be able to change the narrative as Stormfly makes that move very easily? I've got to say, how was he able to do that so easily? Was there a problem for Osmond? Having a look here at the replay, and it looks to me, trying to see where, yes, Osmond makes a mistake, and that allows Stormfly through. This could also really play into the hands of The Truth. Because look at that, The Truth about to make the move on Osmond, because Osmond's got damage. Has he got damage? Yes, he has. Osmond's got damage, so he's now going to drop down. That's The Truth up into the top 3. I said it. He lurks there in 5th place, lurks there in 6th place, waits for things like this to happen to give himself the really good opportunity. And look at that. 1st and 2nd in the championship, Stormfly and The Truth currently running 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack. Osmond there in 4th. Bonnie Val not going to be able to catch him, and I don't think Let It Rip's going to have enough to catch Bonnie Val at this stage. We're on the final lap of the race. This is Tech Racing 2 corners. Absolutely flawless from Tech Racing today, and the only driver to do a sub 207 lap. Certainly in this lobby 1, I wonder if anyone in lobby 2 was able to do a sub 207. But Tech Racing is your winner. The Australian driver from Beyond Victory Lane Racing Team takes the win here convincingly in the end from Stormfly. Stormfly battled his way up into second. The pressure on Osmond was telling. and he manages to force Osman into an error, takes second position. The Truth, again, consistency pays off. Another podium for the Truth Serum. Osman with damage, loads and loads of it. Trundles home. Trundles is the operative word here. Trundles home in fourth. And Bonnie Val, who at one stage was dominating this race, trundles home with damage in fifth. Let It Rip closed 12 seconds, nearly 13 seconds on Bonnie Val and those last couple of laps, but didn't do enough to get back in sixth. Seventh for Wooly, so that's fifth and seventh for ART. That is a third, a sixth, and an eighth for Sector 7. Black Flag with a second, a ninth, and a 10th, and a couple of DNFs, unfortunately. But it's all about your winner today from beyond Victory Lane, the only BVL representative in this GT3 World Championship. And my God, is he flying the flag for beyond Victory Lane at the moment. Absolutely the man to beat. Last couple of races, he has been absolutely devastatingly brilliant. Tech Racing with another win, 16 seconds in the end. Made it look a lot more convincing than it probably should have been. But BVL Tech is your winner. How's about that then? That was a good lot of racing. I do apologise for the horrible yapping from the strange animal. Right, Hannah. I do apologise for my 9-year-old daughter who's about to get grounded. Tech Racing wins this race in the GTR. Stormfly, can somebody sort the dog out, please? Stormfly battles back in the 911 to get second. It's going crazy in this house, isn't it? The Truth in third, good finish from him in the 650S. Osman in fourth in that Supra. That bit of damage at the end just cost him a place on the podium, as did the damage for Bonnie Val in the AMG GT3, finishing in fifth. Let It Rip home in sixth in that BMW M6. The GTR Nismo of Wooly coming home in seventh. Eighth for Hovercraft in that Huracan GT3. Ninth for Avalon in the 911. Jay in the 650S came home in 10th, and we had TJ and Star Groot were DNF. But no, great racing. Look, it was an absolutely fabulous race, and really enjoyed it. And how did Tech Racing make his thing yellow? How does he make his thing go yellow, people? How did you do that? I want a yellow one. I want a yellow thing. Answer the postcard. It was not a robber. You know, he was a legend and deserves to be lauded in such a way. Thank you everyone for joining us. Shall we? I was going to do an interview in top 3, but I'm not going to bother. I'm very tired. No, that was really good racing all round. Really top stuff from all the drivers. Couple of mistakes, and that's what it takes. Couple of little errors, and it all goes horribly wrong. It just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how quick you are. If you can't keep it out of the wall, you can't finish the race where you wanted to. But brilliant driving all around. Thank you very much for joining me. Back next week for more racing. I think we're Suzuka next week. I'm sure we're at Suzuka next week. I could be wrong. We are somewhere else, but we'll be back for round 8. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. It's been emotional.
It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. Love is right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. in motion.